It's week 4 in college football, but week 1 in SEC play for the Oklahoma Sooners, and this weekend in Norman, the collision is personal. We have two undefeated top 25 teams opening their conference slate, the number 11 Oklahoma Sooners hosting the number 22 Auburn Tigers. But this isn't just another ranked matchup. This is a story. It's a homecoming, a reunion, and for some a reckoning. The central narrative, the storyline that has dominated the headlines all week, is the return of Auburn quarterback Jackson Arnold to the very stadium where his career began. This is the Breakup Bowl, and like any breakup, it's complicated. Today we're going to break down every angle of this fascinating SEC showdown. We'll dive deep into the data to see if Jackson Arnold has truly found himself on the plains. We'll analyze the clash of offensive styles, the dominant defense that might have a hidden flaw, and tell you where this game will ultimately be won and lost. But before we proceed, if you like fact-filled Sooner content, please like and subscribe to this channel. To understand the weight of this Saturday, you have to understand some history. Jackson Arnold wasn't just another recruit for Oklahoma. He was a 5-star prospect from Denton, Texas, just a 2-hour drive from Norman, handpicked to be the next great quarterback in a lineage that includes 3 Heisman winners in this century. But his time in Norman was a self-described roller coaster. In 2024, after starting the first 4 games, he was infamously benched. And in a twist of fate, his replacement, freshman Michael Hawkins Jr., made his first career start on the road against Auburn. The writing was on the wall. On December 2nd, Oklahoma hired its new offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle. Just 2 days later, on December 4th, Jackson Arnold officially entered the transfer portal. The divorce was final. Now, he returns. And the media narrative is electric. There's a palpable tension surrounding this game, with insiders suggesting that both Arnold and Oklahoma coach Brent Venables want to prove they are better off without the other. Arnold himself has been quiet, politely declining interview requests to avoid the noise, saying his focus is just on his job. But behind the scenes, as you can see, the coaches are playing a strategic game of narrative management. When asked if his familiarity with Arnold gives his defense an edge, Brent Venables masterfully pivots. He said, "We've really got to stop the Auburn offense. That's the challenge." He's depersonalizing it, forcing his team to see the whole picture, not just the ghost of their former quarterback. Meanwhile, Auburn's Hugh Freeze is doing the same, but for a different reason. He's shielding his quarterback from the pressure, drawing on his own experience of returning to Ole Miss as a visiting coach. His advice to Arnold? Keep the focus on our team. It's not about you. Freeze is publicly downplaying any insider knowledge Arnold might have, stating they are building their game plan based on this year's tape, not last year's memories. Both coaches know the emotions are real, and both are working to ensure those emotions don't decide the game. So that brings us to the central question. Has the move to Auburn actually worked for Jackson Arnold? Has he progressed or regressed? The numbers tell a clear and fascinating story of redemption. Let's start with the most telling metric. Highlighted here on this slide, in 2024 at Oklahoma, Arnold's average yards gained per play through 3 weeks was 5.33. This season at Auburn, through 3 weeks, that number has skyrocketed to 7.94. That's a big leap in efficiency and production. But it's not just one number. He's improved across the board. He's shown notable improvement on both first and fourth downs, and his average yards have increased on both completed passes and on rushes, showing he's a more confident and effective dual-threat quarterback. This season's stats back it up. Through 3 games, he has 501 passing yards, 192 rushing yards, and 8 total touchdowns. And here's the most important part, 0 turnovers. This is a stark contrast to his turnover-prone days in Norman, where fumbles and interceptions were often his kryptonite. And as you can see here, the comparison is stark. His new coach, Hugh Freeze, measures a quarterback by 2 things, wins and losses, and the turnover battle. He adds, Arnold's done extremely well. Freeze also admitted that a key part of his recruitment was convincing Arnold they could help rebuild the confidence that was shaken at his previous school. But what does his old coach think? Brent Venables offers a more nuanced perspective. When asked about Arnold's improvement, he said, "I think he's the same guy. I think he's got a healthy football team around him. You can't play quarterback by yourself, right?" This is a very deliberate and strategic statement. Venables isn't saying Arnold hasn't improved, he's reframing the reason for that improvement. By attributing Arnold's success to his new, healthier environment, Venables is subtly protecting his own program. He's validating the narrative that Oklahoma's 2024 offense was hampered by injuries and coaching issues, implying that any quarterback would have struggled. It paints the picture not of a mistake made by Oklahoma, but of a mutually beneficial split where both parties have now found success. But this game is far more than just Jackson Arnold versus his old team. As we'll soon look at, it's a fundamental clash of offensive philosophies, a battle between two completely different ways of moving the football. On one side, you have Oklahoma's explosive quick strike attack led by Heisman Trophy candidate John Mateer. As you can see here, Oklahoma's offense has a significantly higher offensive explosiveness rating, at 1.25 compared to Auburn's 1.05. They live for the big play. Mateer already has 9 all-purpose touchdowns this season, and as one analyst put it, it only takes 4 or 5 plays for Mateer to turn a game on its head. On the other side, you have Auburn's methodical, grinding, ground and pound offense. Their identity is built on physicality. The data shows they have a much higher offensive success rate at 0.55 to Oklahoma's 0.50. Success rate measures consistency, the ability to stay on schedule and avoid negative plays. While they don't generate as many home run plays, they're experts at moving the chains. Coach Venables noted they're averaging nearly 250 rushing yards per game, with running back Jeremiah Cobb leading the way. At first glance, their overall efficiency measured by predicted points added looks very similar. You can see it right there on the slide, Auburn at 0.35 and Oklahoma at 0.32. But this can be misleading. The numbers underneath tell the real story. Oklahoma gets its points with haymakers, Auburn gets its points by winning a war of inches, one first down at a time. This isn't just a difference in play calling, it's a fundamental battle for the soul of the game. Now we come to what might be the single biggest mismatch in this game. Auburn's methodical offense against Oklahoma's statistically elite defense. And I do mean elite. Coach Freeze even said Oklahoma's a team that should be in the playoffs discussion because of how good their defense is. Oklahoma's overall defensive PPA is a phenomenal minus 0.14. Remember, for defense, negative is very, very good. Auburn's defense, for comparison, sits at 0.09. That's a massive gap in performance. Oklahoma defense allows a successful play on just 21.9% of their snaps. That means nearly 4 out of every 5 plays run against them fails to keep the offense on schedule. They are dominant against both the run and the pass. But one bizarre, almost unbelievable Achilles heel of this defense so far is that they have yet to force a single turnover. Brent Venables knows this is a problem, saying they got to do a better job because that's going to be a really important part as we jump into SEC play. This creates a fascinating dynamic. Oklahoma's defense is built to methodically force a punt, not to create a sudden game-changing moment. They don't bail their offense out with a strip sack or a pick six. This means if an opponent can sustain a drive against them, there's no panic button for the Sooners to press. And Auburn's offensive identity, a clock-controlling run game, high success on early downs, and a quarterback who's now protecting the football, is perfectly designed to exploit that very weakness. So let's get into the X's and O's a little bit more. This entire game boils down to a chess match centered on one specific situation, that's first down. The data on this slide is crystal clear. This season, Auburn has been better on first and second downs, while Oklahoma has been more effective on third and fourth downs. This is the entire ballgame. As one analyst noted, first down is huge for Auburn on offense, third down is huge for Oklahoma on offense. Auburn's goal is simple, win on first down. If they can get 4 or 5 yards, they stay ahead of the chains and neutralize Brent Venables' aggressive blitz-heavy third down packages. A 3rd and 2 is a world away from a 3rd and 8 against this defense. The entire strategic conflict can be boiled down to this. If Auburn's average yards on first down is over 4.5, they are controlling the game. If it's under 3, Oklahoma is. Another key trend to watch, which we've broken down here, is how these teams start and finish. The data shows Auburn performs better in the first and third quarters, while Oklahoma is stronger in the second and fourth. A fast start for Auburn is critical. The other pivotal matchup will be when Auburn does decide to pass. Coach Venables specifically called out Auburn receivers Cam Colbin and Eric Singleton as a big challenge. But Arnold isn't a high-volume passer, and Coach Reeves has openly said, "I'd like to throw it deep more," which suggests they know they need to prove they can stretch the field. If Oklahoma's secondary can shut down the pass, Auburn becomes one-dimensional and predictable. A death sentence against this defense. So there you have it. Oklahoma's explosive offense and suffocating yet turnover-averse defense against Auburn's grinding ground game, led by a quarterback with everything to prove on his old turf. Here's what it will take for each team to walk away with a win, and we've laid it out here on the final slide. In the end, this game is A fascinating contrast in styles. Most experts are picking a close, low-scoring Oklahoma victory, with predicted scores like 34-24 or 27-24. My analysis leads me to a similar conclusion. Oklahoma's defense is simply too good and too disciplined, and the game is in Norman. They will get enough stops to win. However, Auburn's offensive style is tailor-made to control the clock and keep this game close. The Sooners' inability to force turnovers will prevent them from pulling away, allowing Auburn's methodical offense to hang around until the very end. Oklahoma wins the game, but Auburn covers the spread. My final score prediction is Oklahoma 27, Auburn 23. It's going to be a physical, emotional, and strategic battle in Norman. What do you think? Will Jackson Arnold get his revenge, or will the Sooners prove they're better off? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you want more deep dive analysis like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. We'll see you next time. Boomer.